Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov, Hine Matov. Na 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 na. Hine Matov, Hine Matov. Na 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 na. Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so good to be here together. Monsi, thank you for having your bar mitzvah. We need this lift. We need this uplift. We, as not just your immediate family, Dayenu, but your whole community, needs the uplift of a bar mitzvah on this Shabbat. So thank you for your hard work and your dedication and leading us in this service, the words you're going to chant, the drash you're going to share, and the energy that you're lending to your people. Friends who are in person here in the sanctuary and those who are joining us from wherever you are, our energy with our claps and our snaps and our la-la-las and our chanting and however you can participate is going to be sent up to Monsi, who then sends it right back to us. Think of two mirrors in a light going back and forth between those mirrors. And that's how this service goes. This is a highly participatory, highly touchy-feely service. So mom and dad, anytime it is remotely appropriate to give a hug and a kiss, do it. It's actually a little weird if you don't do it. So go ahead and do it whenever you want to do it. That's the permission. Friends who are tuning in from wherever you are on the Facebook feed, you have our service and you can click on that. For the friends who are here in the sanctuary, we're using our red Siddur. And you can see the way that it works is on the right, you have the Hebrew. On the left, you have the English. And in the middle, you have the transliteration. So however you want to join in is going to be great with us. So if you are on Facebook, go ahead and wish Monsi and friends a mazel tov. A quick word of just how we're set up here. Monsi and his mom and dad are up on the bima. They are not wearing masks because they are considered a unit for the day. And they are about 30 feet away from their in-person guests, and it is a limited group here, but everybody who's here is socially distant and masked up. And Cantor and I are, Cantor Lorna Desnick, Rabbi Spike Anderson, we are about 40 feet away from everybody, and we are also masked. So this way we can be here, we can celebrate, we can have joy, but we can do it safely. So friends, here we go, a little Hine Matov, get us in the mood.
Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov, Hine Matov, La 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 la, Hine Matov, Hine Matov, La 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 la. Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov Umanayim, Sheberahim Gam Yachad.
So, Monsi, on this journey over these next 90 minutes, this journey which is a rite of passage by which you become a Jewish man. You go from being a Jewish boy to a Jewish man in 90 minutes. Voila. One of the signposts along the way is the Talit. And the Talit is a piece of adult Jewish clothing. And according to the tradition, last week, last month, even this morning, you weren't allowed to publicly don your tallis. But now, or in a moment, you're going to have Roy Crimman and Karen Paz and Roy Swindle and Deborah Swindle come on up, so you all can come on up and take your spots. And they are going to dedicate the receiving of your talis to you. And that is something which is going to be a marked, right down here, a marked piece of your Jewish adult identity. So this is on page 5, whenever you're ready.
Shoulders, may the voices of the generations speak to you. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected to all who dwell on earth.
You are embraced in the folds of this Talit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and this holy congregation. May this simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltering presence.
As you recite the blessing and wrap yourself in this Talit, we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your place in the chain of our tradition.
Okay, Mons, now you're going to read the blessing for the donning of the talis.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
And we say, Amen. Okay, and now we can drape it over his shoulders. There you go. And just fix it up. Wonderful.
Talit clips. There we go.
So, family who's up there, and mom and dad, if you'll put a hand on Monsi's shoulders, we know, everybody, that families come together for all sorts of reasons. Some sad, this one, super happy, joyful. And so what we Jews do when we know we're celebrating this type of time is we sing our Shehechianu prayer. Literally, thank you, God, for this moment in time. We're here, we're breathing, we're together. May we have this type of simcha, this type of moment again and again and again. Please join us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu
V'kimanu v'higianu azman hazeh.
Amen.
Okay, and Roy, Karen, Roy, and Deborah, you can have a seat. Monsi, will you continue on page 6 for us?
God be with me on this occasion of my bar mitzvah. Help me make meaningful the covenant you now establish with me. Sustain me with a sense of holiness. Inspire in me a desire to be special. I do not ask that you make my life easy, resolve my problems, or map out the directions of my life. I ask only that you strengthen within me the desire to mold and shape my life in accordance with your will. In this hour of my bar mitzvah, I invoke your blessings upon my parents and friends, all who have loved and cared for me, and have brought me to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in my growth and my achievement. You turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Amen. Monsi, you're going to continue on page 13, leading us. And friends, in the italics, that's us. So when you see the italics, we all chime in. Monsi, lead us, please.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. Page 13.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit indifference, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We rise for Baruch Hu on page 15.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamevorach.
You'll find the words to Ma'ariv Aravim on your front inside cover. Monsi, these words from Ma'ariv Aravim, these prayers talk about the Jewish day, which of course begins at night. And with each new day, with each new time that we have, we Jews believe that we have a chance to reinvent ourselves, to start creation anew. We are not mired in yesterday or the mistakes of yesteryear. Each time we begin again with the rising of each moon, we have a chance to take a new step forward. Would you lead us, please, Ma'ariv Aravim?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Bechochma potea sha'arim. Uvit vuna meshane itim umechalef et hazmanim. Umsader et hakochavim. B'mishmerotecham barakia kirtsono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei hoshech. V'hoshech mipnei or. Umavir yom umavi laila, mavadil bein yom uvein laila. Adonai tzefot shemo. Elhai v'kayam, tamin yimloch aleinu leolam ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Amen.
You'll find Ahava Rabbah on 16. Ahava Rabbah, Monsi, refers to God's great love for us. And when you think about the folks who are in your life, your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your teachers, the folks who are in this sanctuary, the folks who aren't, who love you and are part of your life, your tradition asks that you add God to that list, that you are very much loved and very much appreciated. And this is our prayer of recognition and gratitude. Page 16.
Ahava Rabbah ahavtanu. Adonai Eloheinu, Chamla, Gedola, Vatera, Chamalta Aleinu. Ba'avur Avotenu, Be'emotenu. Shabbat Hu Vecha Vatlamdim, Chokei Hayim. Ken Te Chonenu, Ut Lamdenu. Hamrachem, Rachem Aleinu, Vatain Lebenu, Uhavin, Uhaskil, Lishmoa. Lilmod olamid lishmor asot ulchayem el et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha ba'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai chabocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava.
Amen. So we get ready for our Shema, which is on page 18. Honestly, this Shema prayer, you've probably said it, I don't know, 100 times, 1,000 times, right? This is typically the first prayer that a Jewish child learns, and according to tradition, this is the last prayer that a Jew says before passing, but there's lots of times in between. This is a prayer which we cite that we have a special relationship with the One, and we are part of the One, and the One is part of us. So Monsi, this one special time, would you lead us with Shema on page 18?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Monty, the Via Hafta on page 18, which is part of the Shema, this is the prayer that asks the question, when is it that we're supposed to have a Jewish orientation? When are we supposed to put our best foot forward, do our very best to do the right thing? And the answer, Monty, that's given in here is, well, when you're sitting down and when you're laying down and when on your way, when you're rising up. In other words, always. Well, that seems like a good answer until we really think about it. It's very hard to do anything important and with intention, with a mindfulness, always. Very, very hard. And so the Via Hafta is a reminder that we have reminders that we're supposed to do our very best, that we're supposed to have this particular orientation, like your mezuzahs on your door, your talis that you're wearing, tefillin if that's part of your life, the Judaica in your home, your synagogue, your Davis Academy school. All the Jewish things in your life are reminders that you can be much more than usually we are in any particular moment. And those aspirations are part of what makes us holy. Via Hafta, page 18.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ושנותיך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לו תותפות בין עיניך, והובטחתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Deborah Swindle, will you come on up and lead us in our Geula reading on page 19?
You shall love the Lord your Adonai, your God, with all your mind, all your strength, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be for a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot. Do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, am your God.
Thank you. Friends, join me on page 19 responsibly. Adonai, our God, you took us out of slavery in Egypt. You made us free. Together, you were in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering. Even today, you are in the hope that, like a beam of light, brightens the darkness of suffering and despair.
You are in the love that creates, protects, forgives.
Standing at the sea, we felt your goodness and your love, and we sang a new song to you, and still today, we sing that song.
We praise you, Adonai,
Redeemer
of
of
Israel.
Israel. Micha Mocha can be found on page 20.
La Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Two clap. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. We sing Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Elohim Adonai. Mi Chamocha Elohim Kodesh. Torah Service. Torah Service. Yai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Here's one last time. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Adonai Imo, Eyolam Va'ed. Adonai Imo, Eyolam Va'ed. Yai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Sur Yisrael, we rise, Kuma Bezrat Yisrael, Ufedichin Umecha, Yehuda veYisrael. Go Aleinu Adonai Tzivot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai.
Please rise.
Sha'al Yisrael.
So, Monsi, we're about to begin the Amidah, our central standing prayer, in which we are moving into conversation with the divine. And the Amidah says, essentially, we're not coming into this in a vacuum. We're not coming to this vine. We've got what's called a yichus. We have a connection. And the connection, even if we're not familiar with it in the moment, rests on the generations that have come before us. Parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, etc., all the way back, that you are part of a long line and chain of relationship with God. And with this in mind, we come forward with our Amidah on page 21.
Adonai, Sefatav Tiftach, Yufiyah Gitahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Zekoneh HaKol, V'zoker HaSehavot V'imot, U'mevii Geula Lifnei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Ve'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezras Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah v'Hoshea. Mashir haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechayel Chaim bechesed, Mechayel hakol berachamim rabim, Someach noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunaso l'shenei afar, Michamocha ba'al kivuros, Umidol melech, Melech limit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol,
Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
I'd like to invite up Roy and Ellen Swindle to lead us on the reading on page 23 responsively.
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths.
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to others.
There is holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships.
There is holiness when people of different backgrounds work together for a common future.
There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
There is holiness when people create lasting poetry or song or philosophy.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
Holy, holy, holy is Adonai, our God.
Kedusha, page 24.
Nekadesh shimcha ba'olam, kishem shemati shemo tobish memarom, kakatuv ayad naviecha, v'kara zeh ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai tzevaot, melech haaretz, kevodo. Adir, adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, madir shimcha b'chol haaretz, baruch kevod Adonai, mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu avinu hu malkeinu, hu moshienu v'hu yashmienu, v'rachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, le'dor vador. Hallelujah. Repeat after me. Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador. Nagid galecha. Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador. Nagid galecha. Olenetach netzakim, Kedushatecha nakdish, Kedushatecha nakdish. V'shivcha Eloheinu, v'vinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Here comes your part. Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador. Le'dor vador. Nagid galecha.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador.
Le'dor vador. Nagid galecha. Ki el-melech gadol, gadol v'kadosh, gadol v'kadosh ata. Ki el-melech gadol, gadol v'kadosh, gadol v'kadosh ata. Baruch atah Adonai, Elohim hakadosh.
And we can be seated. Monsi, will you lead us on page 23 responsively from the top? Sorry, 25.
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
Shabbat is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor. It's always been a break in routine of everyday life.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph together of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a sacred retreat, a haven of safety and a foundation of new strength and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony. A home at peace welcomes Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is part of nature's design, the very purpose of creation. All that was created attains its fulfillment in Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest, with the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. Page 26, Yismechu.
Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat, Shabbat joy.
Yismechu v'malchutecha,
Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat. Mekadesh sheli Shabbat, Mulam yisbehu, v'yitagum tuvecha Shabbat. Here we go.
Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat.
We say Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat. Uvakir hatzitabo, hatzitabo v'kidosh Shabbat, and Adoni, oh, Jokarata Shabbat. Join with us.
Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat.
Zecher, 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 Ma'aseh v'Reshit Shabbat. Zecher v'Ma'aseh, Ma'aseh v'Reshit
Here we
Shabbat.
go. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'chorei, Onei Shabbat. Okay. Kyla Walsh, come on down. You'll lead us, if you will, on the reading on page 27.
Our world is full of wonders and miracles, but all it takes is one little hand placed before our eyes and we see nothing.
But miracles are all around us and within us. We are each walking miracles.
When we are bruised, what miracle heals us? When we see beauty, what miracle elevates us? When we hear music, what miracle moves us?
When we see suffering, what miracle saddens us? When we give and receive love, what miracle warms us? When we pray, what miracle renews us?
Every springtime is a miracle. Every snowflake is a miracle. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the hopes we cherish, each is a miracle.
For all these miracles, may your name be exalted and blessed forever and ever. Okay, Kyle, thank you. And I'm going to ask Vonda and Raphael Sadowitz to come on up. And you'll lead us on page 28.
Our God, we know there is no greater gift than peace. Help us to find peace that comes from the love of your Torah.
Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry. Help us to establish forever one human family, doing your will in love and peace.
Help us to find peace in ourselves and among all people. O God of peace, bless us with peace.
You have given us the power, O God, to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace. Blessed is God, teacher of peace.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha, sim, sim, sim. sim shalom, sim, sim, sim shalom, tova uveracha. Lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, lai lai lai, ya lai lai lai. Sim, sim, sim shalom, sim, sim, sim shalom, sim, sim, sim shalom, tova uveracha.
I'd like to invite everyone to take a silent moment or two for your own prayer, meditation, reflection, introspection, communion.
We meet back together in these words on page 30. Hiyu l'ratzon imrei fi. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Hiyu l'ratzon imrei fi, imrei fi, v'hegyo libi lefanecha. Adonai turi, Adonai turi, v'goli, v'goli.
I'd like to ask your mom and dad, Molly and Kobe, to impart to you the blessing on page 31. Mom and dad, these words are jewels lifted from different pieces of Talmud, and these are so appropriate for this occasion today.
Monsi, may you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come, and may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition, and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue, and your vision be on a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
A Jewish home opens its heart, and its link to the generations is proclaimed. Today, our child, nearly grown, is called to read from the Torah and is welcomed into the congregation. May this moment be blessed.
Hug, hug, kiss, kiss. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, friends, I'll ask everyone to stand as we get ready for our Torah service, starting on page 32.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah,
Please rise.
u'devar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kdushato. So Now is the moment as everybody is standing. Kobe, I'm going to ask you to pick up the Torah, and you're going to hang on to it for a little bit. Very good. And you just hold on to it. So, Monty, in just a moment, you're going to receive Torah from Mom and Dad. And we've talked about this a little bit before, right? That this Torah, we talked about it as a tree of life. That it's really a foundation for who we are as a Jewish people. And it comes to us through generations and generations and generations. And who are our generations? Our generations are our ancestors, not just those that we read about in the Torah, but our own family ancestors. And so circling our sanctuary, smiling at you, are all of your, generations that have come before you. And then certainly we're thinking about great-grandma Helen Cranman, who we hope is watching from afar. We know that your grandparents here, Roy and Karen and Deborah and Roy and Perry and Fred are all here just beaming at you in your receiving Torah in this moment. So it is now time for you to take that torch, that burning light, and pass it on to your generation. So before you do, Mom's going to give it a little kiss and touch. And now, Monty, Dad is going to pass you the Torah. Beautiful. And now you're going to hang on to it. It's heavy, right? You've got it, though. You've got it. You're prepared. So we continue together. We remain standing on page 33. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai Iti, Uneromema, Shemo Yachdav. And now the Bar Mitzvah family can undress the Torah. Lecha Adonai HaGedula, v'HaGevura, v'HaTiferet, v'HaNetzach, v'HaHod. Ki hu b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki hu b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai HaMelacha, v'hamid na'aseh l'chol erod.
Please, everyone, be seated. Monsi, you're about to chant for us from Parshat Yitro, which in English was Jethro, like Jethro told, Yitro. Yitro is, in some ways, Monsi, the center of our story. I mean, you picked quite a Torah portion to have your bar mitzvah with. And in these moments, there is, as you're going to chant for us, perhaps the beginning of our real story, our connection with the divine as a people, and with it a ethical, moral, not just set of commandments, but responsibility. So part of Monsi's chanting today is going to be the 10 Commandments. And the tradition is that when we chant the 10 Commandments, we will ask everyone to rise to hear them. For those of you who've been to 2, 10, 100, 1,000 bar bat mitzvahs, you may forget how hard it is what he's about to be doing. Chanting in the original with no vowels in a language that he did not grow up in has taken a ton of work and time. And Monsi, we are so proud of you that you are leading us in this way now. Cantor?
You will find our blessings before and after the Torah reading on page 34. And so at this time, I invite everybody to rise. Monsi's Torah portion encompasses all 10 of our 10 commandments. And for the first Aliyah, we call up to the microphone Micah Cranman, Lior, and Adria Moshe. Ya'amdu, Micah ben Rui Udvora, Avito bat Devora, Lior ben Sami v'perla la aliyah la Torah. Ever you're ready.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'yidaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ele le'amor Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim me'beit avadim.
Yasher Koach. And we continue with the blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, air hugs and kisses. And you may be seated. And for the honor of our second Aliyah, we call up Roy Cranman, Karen Paz, Deborah Swindle, and Roy Swindle. Ya'amdu, Roy Moshe ben Hershel Bechana, Karen Avigail, bat Mordechai Miriam, Roy ben Yoav Alma, Devorah bat Abraham Rachel, La'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lo yihye lecha Elohim acharim al panai. Lo ta'aseh lecha fesel v'hol tmuna asher b'shamayim ima v'asher ba'aretz mitachat v'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz. Lo tisha velachem v'lo tovdem ki anochi Adonai Elohecha al kanai poked avon avod al banim al shaleshim ve'al rebeim v'sonai ve'oseh chesed lalafim lo havai l'shomrei mitzvotai.
Yasher Koach, and the blessing after the Torah.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, and for the honor of our third Aliyah, we call Mom and Dad Kobe Cranman and Molly Azima. Ya'amdu Yaakov ben Royu Devorah, Lishana bat Abbas Fatima, La'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. And Monsi, before mom and dad chant their aliyah, their blessing after the Torah, go ahead and turn your microphone back on. Press the button so the red dot looks like it's on. Very good. Okay, mom and dad.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Hug, kiss, kiss.
Okay.
Very good.
Friends, I'm going to ask you to keep standing for one more moment. And mom and dad, if you'll put a hand on Monsi's shoulders, we're going to, no? Oh, he does. Never mind. Not quite yet. I jumped the gun.
Not quite yet. We're almost there. 10 Commandments are a little long. Monty, at this moment, you're going to go have a seat. And now you finally get to find out why you are having a seat. So you are having a seat because this is the moment that you have been working towards, not just for the past 6 months when I met you over Zoom and you were in San Diego, but really since you were born. You have been moving towards this moment. This is a moment where you literally make aliyah, you ascend into becoming a bar mitzvah. And so when I call you up by your Hebrew name, your rising up from your seat to the Torah is a physical demonstration of that, but also what you are doing is you are moving upwards spiritually as well. And I like to also think about it as moving into a deeper sense of who you are as a Jewish young adult, and exploring your Judaism, your religion, your culture, your heritage, and your Jewish spirituality. And in doing that, you also elevate us and you help us to deepen our sense of our Judaism and our Jewish spirituality as well. So I am very proud to call you up to the bima now. You can go ahead and walk up to the Torah for your aliyah. Yamad habachor habar mitzvah simcha baruch ben Yaakov uleshana la'aliyah Torah. And you are going to make your bracha before you chant your aliyah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Kabed et avicha v'et imecha lema'an yarechu yomecha al hadama asher Adonai Elokecha noten lach. Lo tirtzach, lo tinach, lo tignov, lo taneh brecha et shaker, lo tachmod beit reyecha, lo tachmod eshet reyecha, ve'avdo v'amatzo ve'shuro ve'hamro ve'chol asher l'reyecha.
Yasher koach. Go ahead and offer the bracha following the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay, everyone can please be seated. Okay, now, Kobe and Molly, will you put your hand on Monsi's shoulders? Okay. I was just eager to get to this. So Mons, you chanted beautifully, you laned beautifully. And now what we are doing is giving you a special Misha Baruch blessing for your continued spiritual development. The hope is that today, centered around the chanting of the Torah and chanting of the 10 Commandments, which is a big deal, that today acts as a spiritual cornerstone for you, that you can push off from this day, push off from this experience spiritually to go on your journey, that this is a place of knowing where you are and using it to go to where you might yet be. We'll do it in Hebrew, then English. Mishaberach Avotenu Vimotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu Yevarech et Simcha Baruch ben Yaakov v'Shena, Shehagia mitzvot la'Allah la'Torah, Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yismeirehu v'Chayehu v'Chonen et Libo, Yot Shlem im Adonai Elohav, Hagop Torah Tola Lecha Bidrachav v'Lishmor mitzvotav v'Yimsechen v'Sechel Tov v'Nei Elohim v'Adam v'Nomar. Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Monsi, who's come up for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people. And we say, Amen. Okay. Kobe, will you roll the Torah up a little bit? Yep, just a little bit, and then place the cover right on top of it. You can connect the Whipple if you'd like. There you go. So part of what goes into becoming a bar mitzvah is not just leading us in the service, Dayenu, and not just chanting in the original, Dayenu, but sharing your Devar Torah, a drash, your words of Torah, how you understood your Torah portion, Monsi, and the particular light and perspective that you bring to these ancient words, both as it applies to the Jewish people universally and in our modern times today. So at this point, I ask you to take out your Devar Torah, your drash, and you're gonna deliver it to us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The Torah portion that I'm reading from my bar mitzvah is Yitro from the book of Exodus. In this parsha, Jethro, or Yitro as his name was pronounced back then, Moses' non-Jewish father-in-law, hears about the miracles that God performed for Moses and the Israelites. Jethro brings Moses' wife and 2 kids, Gershom and Eleazar, to meet Moses in the wilderness next to Sinai. There, Moses retells the story of how God delivered them out of Egypt and what God had done to the Pharaoh. After Moses finishes this amazing story, Jethro says, "Blessed be the Eternal," because he realizes that God is greater than all other gods. The next day, Jethro observes how Moses teaches God's lessons to the Israelites. He also sees how Moses is acting as a judge to the people. Any trouble occurring among these Israelites will be judged by Moses and Moses alone. Jethro does not believe that it is right for Moses to act as the only judge for every dispute that arises. Jethro believes that the system is too much of a burden on Moses and sees that Moses is getting burnt out. The people are waiting all day for solutions, and that Moses has no time left for his personal life. Jethro advises Moses that Moses needs to appoint chiefs that will handle smaller problems, while the more serious issues will be judged by Moses himself. Moses follows Jethro's advice and appoints these chiefs and bids his father-in-law goodbye as Jethro returns home. The Israelites continue camping in the wilderness below Mount Sinai while Moses ascends the mountain. God tells Moses that if Moses obeys God, he will be God's treasured possession among all of the people. Moses returns from the mountain and tells the people the powerful messages that God has spoken. The people agree to do what God had said and respond, "All that the Eternal has spoken, we will do." Moses tells God the response of the people, and God said that he will come to Moses in a thick pillar of smoke, lightning, fire, and clouds, so the Israelites would believe Moses and would trust him. This is a serious show of God's power. God comes down the mountain 3 days later in a pillar of smoke, and everybody in the camp rushes towards this impressive display. It is here when God speaks the 10 commandments. 1, you shall have no other gods before me. 2, you shall not make yourselves an idol, nor any image. 3, you shall not take the name of your Lord, your God, in vain. 4, Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 5. Honor your father and mother. 6. You shall not murder. 7. You shall not commit adultery. 8. You shall not steal. 9. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. And 10. You shall not covet your neighbor or anything that is his. In my opinion, the 10 Commandments are the main points of Judaism and modern law. If everybody followed these commandments, we would live in a very peaceful world. Each row is clearly an essential Torah portion, as it is here where we are introduced to the 10 Commandments and see the beginnings of an appellate court system still in place throughout the world. At a time when there are many perceived divisions between people, it's interesting to note how a Torah portion named after a non-Jewish man, Yitro, incorporates wisdom from outside the Israelite nation into the Torah's teachings. By this example, we are reminded of how much all people can learn from one another. This Torah portion teaches us a number of lessons, but one lesson really stands out to me. You can't do everything by yourself. Sometimes you need help and advice from others. Because Moses takes Jethro's advice, he's able to balance being a leader for his community and focusing on other important aspects of his life, such as family. My bar mitzvah is when I go from being a child to when I start becoming a leader in my community. What does being a leader mean? It means that people can count on me to be trustworthy, do what's right for society, and follow through on what I say. But as I learned in this Torah portion, sometimes even leaders need advice and help from others. As a member of the community, we are also asked to help those who are in a leadership role. Recently, I had been working to be a helpful son and older brother and have learned that the same character traits that make a great leader, reliability, trustworthiness, and the ability to give and receive help, are the same traits that make for great helpers like Moses' judges. So for society to be peaceful, everybody in that community must think about their impact on others and practice what we learn about in the Torah. Now that I'm becoming a bar mitzvah, I will make sure that whenever somebody in the community needs help, I will be there. Another word for helping others is tzedakah. It's one of the most important Jewish values to me. Tzedakah is the act of helping people that have less than you by giving financially, offering your time, or assisting in some other way. Just a little bit of generosity can change somebody's life for the better. By giving, we can ensure that we help everyone on the planet to live a better life. Also, after my bar mitzvah, I plan to keep going to synagogue, especially when COVID is over. When I have my own home, I will hang a mezuzah on my door to signify my presence in the Jewish community and my pride in being a Jew. I will celebrate the Jewish holidays like Hanukkah, Passover, and Yom Kippur with my family. I will raise Jewish children when I'm older so that I may continue these ancient traditions. These are just some of the things that I will do now that I'm a Jewish adult. Israel is the Jewish homeland. I've been lucky enough to visit Israel once when I was about 3 years old and still remember Masada and, of course, the candy shop in Old Jerusalem, which is definitely the most important location in the Jewish faith. Without Israel, Jews would have no home, and certain parts of the rich culture and history of the Jewish people could be lost. I plan to go again with my 8th grade class at the Davis Academy. Aside from leading services, another major part of my bar mitzvah is my mitzvah project, which is to raise funds for an organization called Earth Justice. Earth Justice is a nonprofit organization that helps the environment in a unique way. They use the power of law to fight people harming the environment. They have over 150 full-time lawyers and 14 offices. Their work has saved forests from being cut down, cleaned up air pollution, decreased the potency of climate change, and more. Through donations by you, my generous friends and family, we have so far raised over $1,214 to fight for our planet's longevity. If you haven't already donated to this great cause, please do so by visiting earthjustice.org. As I stand here today as a bar mitzvah, I am so grateful to everybody that's contributed to my life so I can get to this point. First of all, thank you to everybody that is on the Zoom or here in the synagogue with me. You are supporting me just by being here. Second of all, to all my teachers at the Davis Academy, thank you for teaching me to have a solid Jewish education. Thank you, Ms. Joanne, for being so patient and helping me learn my Torah portion. I definitely could not be up here without you. Rabbi Spike, Rabbi Rachel, and Cantor Desnick. You've each helped me learn so much, and I'm so grateful to be part of the Temple Emanu-El community. Thank you to all my friends for being such great friends. You always make me laugh. And to all my family in Savannah, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Iran, Israel, France, Alabama, Dallas, and the Northeast, and of course, Atlanta. Thank you for supporting me. I love you all so much. Uncle Micah, it was great being near you in San Diego. Thanks for hanging out with me, letting me work at Babstown a little bit. You're one of the coolest uncles ever. Tati, I remember how excited I was when I heard that you and Leo are moving back from Philadelphia. Thank you for being such a great aunt and for giving me my first baby cousin. Leor, we have a lot of fun pulling pranks on Zadie together. I can't wait to get some more donuts soon. Uncle Mo, since we don't get to see each other much, it was really nice seeing you in Scranton. I love you all. Granddaddy, you're definitely the sharpest person I know. Thank you for always taking me to amazing restaurants and talking to me about cars. Thank you, Mimi, for taking care of me whenever I'm with you and making amazing food for me. I always look forward to seeing you and Granddaddy. I love you guys. Sadie, you always have me covered if I need to stay somewhere. I can't wait to go back to Thunder Road with you after COVID is over. Karen, you're definitely the most positive person I know. Thank you for making the most boring things fun. Mama, you're the sweetest person that I've ever met. I love spending time with you, and thank you for your fantastic cooking. I can't wait to see you. Beto, I also love spending time with you. Thank you for making me laugh when I'm with you. I love you both. My little sisters, Satya and Dahlia, thank you for teaching me lots and lots about patience. But seriously, you bring so much joy to my life. I love you. Kyla, you're a great stepmother. You always take care of me. Thank you for being so kind and funny. Dad, every night I say that you're the best dad ever, and I mean it. You're patient, loving, and caring. I love you. Mom, you show me how much you care about me with all that you do every day. You take me to places and you work very hard to provide me a great life. I appreciate how you're always looking out for me and how much you do for me. I love you.
Shabbat Shalom. So that was really, really good, Monsi. Friends, let's pray Eitz Chaim together on page
39.
On page 39, and then we'll say some nice words together.
Eitz Chaim hamachazikim ba v'tomechecha meushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Kadesh Yamenu Kadesh Yamenu Kekedem.
So Monsi, we've said it before, but it probably makes sense to say it again. The thing that Cantor and I most appreciate about our role here at Temple Emanu-El as Cantor and Rabbi, even more than Ruckus Friday night services and weddings and high holidays, is what we've been doing with you for the past couple months. And that is learning Torah Lishma, study for the sake of higher thought, higher thinking, and getting to know you at a very deep level. And you are a deep guy. I think that anybody who knows you probably knows that you're smart, right? You've got a quiet charisma, but you're also very deep, and not just for a 13-year-old, for a person. And we can't teach you that. You either have it or you don't, and you have it. Our relationship, in some ways, actually starts with your grandfather, Roy, who Roy and Karen are actually my neighbors right up the street. We're neighbors together. But when Roy first got in touch with us and we started hearing about not just his life and Karen's life, but your family's Jewish journey going way, way back, your family's immigration story going way back. But what your grandfather kept on talking about was his grandson, Monty. And he kept on saying, he's a great guy, he's a great kid. And it's true, you are. You have a quiet confidence and you've got a joy that comes from you. I always feel like you're in control. And I know you may not always be in control, but that's what you emote, that you're in control, that things are okay. And I know your time at Davis Academy has been really, really special, and you've got some really, really good friends there. I also know that coming to this day was not a foregone conclusion, and you got encouragement from grandparents and parents, but ultimately it was your decision, and the work was your work, and the time was your time, much more so than is usual. And so I and we give you all sorts of kavod, respect, for making the decisions that you did and putting in the time and the effort to be here today, and in doing so, raising up everybody, creating that spiritual cornerstone for yourself, and creating relationships that I think are going to last a lifetime. So I and we are very proud of you, Monty, and we're very eager to see where you go. And not only that, because now you're a leader, where you take us, where you go and where you take us.
Monty, I have really been looking forward to this day. And, you know, the 10 Commandments, you have probably one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult parsha in the whole Torah to chant are these 10 Commandments. Why? Well, you discovered they have some pretty crazy melodies, right? And it doesn't all fall neatly into these tiny, segmented little portions. You really went on a journey. And it was one that was really wonderful to watch. As, you started to learn your portion, you started to understand what it meant, and you kept moving forward. It was always so wonderful to be on Zoom with you, and I'd see your dad saying hi in the background, and to get to hear where your progress was, and to see how you took such a difficult portion and really persevered and really achieved such a beautiful job. And so I know that whatever challenges arise for you, you can meet them, and not only do you meet them, but you elevate yourself over them. And so I am just so excited to see you're continuing to grow into your leadership, to watch what you end up doing and what you end up achieving. Mazel tov.
One last word before Kenter and I give you the priestly benediction, and that is, I know that you and your dad have been watching and engaging in Friday night services here for the last, couple months, on and off, but more lately. And having spoken to your dad, I know that you get a bunch out of it, meaning that you're able to connect, and it's time for you and your family to settle down and into the spirit of Shabbat and connect with the synagogue and the religion. And my hope is that this continues, right? That this isn't the end of that this is actually the momentum you need to go to the next step. And I know your dad's been sort of one of the prime forces of moving you in that direction, but now, Monty, it can be you. You can be the one motivating the rest of your family to actively engage, and we hope that you will. So I'll ask everyone to rise, please, as Cantor and I get to give you the priestly benediction, as our clergy have been doing with our youth since time began as we know it. May God bless you and keep you. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
וישם לך שלום.
May God's face turn towards you and grant you the greatest gift of all, Monsi. Your feet on the ground, mom and dad on either side, surrounded by your family and community, Torah at your back, your whole life ahead of you, a sense of wholeness, completeness, and peace. And we say,
Amen.
And we can be seated. Now, Molly and Colby, this is the chance where you get to say some nice things to your son.
Monsi, you are the greatest blessing of my life. You bring joy and light to those who know you. You're very much loved by your family and friends. I'm proud of the young man you have become. May your light always shine bright and your strong heart always be your guide. May you always connect to the presence of God in everyone and throughout your many experiences of your life. And may you choose the highest path and lead by example. May you remain true to yourself and to your great curiosity and playfulness, and bring in your prosperity and your destiny. I bless you on this day that you vow to uphold the greatness of God, which is the greatness within you.
Monsi, there are no words which can fully describe my pride and my love for you. My mom, and this is where decades of tears fall out of my face all over the paper and the bima, so get ready. Your Mimi would say she loved me more than all the stars in the sky, and now I know what she meant. My dad, your Zadie, would subsequently joke that he loved me more than all the water in the toilet bowl. And I'm still not sure exactly what he meant by that. But what I believe they were each saying in their own special way was that a love a parent has for their child is truly more vast than any object in the world, such as a toilet bowl, for example, and more vast than the universe itself. And this is how your parents and grandparents love you. And others, I might add. When you showed up 13 years ago as that adorable and beastly 10.5-pound baby, your mom and I had no idea how profoundly our understanding of life would change becoming your parents. Having you as a son has been the best thing that ever happened. It has been a blast and has shown me how deep love really is. I remember you saying as a 3-year-old, Dad, you know that loving line, it never ends. Yes, you've always been a deep thinker and really said things like that. Your presence is a gift and your spirit is a light to everyone who knows you. You surprise me every day with your steadfast work ethic, your consistent thoughtfulness, your compassion, generosity, your creative mind, and vibrant and frequently ridiculous sense of humor. You're truly the best son I could ever imagine. I pray that you will always be surrounded by loyal friends and loving family, that you find your soul's match in this life, that you will have beautiful children one day who will impart the knowledge, to whom you will impart the knowledge, traditions, and tzedek that is being passed on to you in the profound and ancient ritual like the one we are honoring here today. May you find your true purpose and lead a life guided with that purpose so that you may experience and share fulfillment and meaning with others each and every day of your life. May you live with dignity and compassion, and may the world remain a better place because you are here. May you always remember to turn to your family and friends when you need support. May you remember to study the wisdom of your ancestors, be grounded by spiritual practice, and listen to your inner knowing when your path becomes rocky. May there always be a helping hand to guide you along. And may your own hands be forever strong and ready to help those in need. Baruch Hashem, blessed is God, the source of all that is good. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Beautiful. Monsi, will you take Mom and Dad up to the Ark and open the Ark doors together? For Elenu on page 40, we can all rise. So everyone's going to turn around, Mom, Dad,
There we go.
Monsi, and right up to the Ark behind you. There you go. Open the Ark.
Aleinu l'shaviach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gidula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kimishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar, V'chaya Adonai, L'melech kol haaretz, V'yom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shema, echad.
We close the Ark. I'll ask everyone to be seated. Monsi, come back with your parents to the bima, please. So, Monsi, we believe that at this moment, those who are dear to your family who have passed are here with us, and that they're smiling, really smiling because of what we are doing, and because of what you're doing today. Your family, in this time of gladness, especially remembers Rachel Juliet Abitan, Donald Toland, Matthew Cranman, Herman Cranman, John and Virginia Swindle, Abtes Azima, and Maimon Jun. If you are observing the first 30 days of Shloshim after a loved one's passing, we invite you to rise now. And if you're in the first year of mourning a loved one's passing, we ask you to rise now. If you are commemorating the yahrzeit, the death anniversary of a loved one's passing, we ask you to rise now. And if it is your custom to rise in solidarity or for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we ask for you to rise now. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 41. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shmei rabbah v'yalman divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael v'galav yizman karev v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam ulomei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit roman v'yit naseh. Vita dar, vita le, vita la, shmedu kutsha, richu, la'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damirambe alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imru mav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen.
Oseh shalom b'imroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael Me'yimeru. Amen.
All right, family, will you shuffle to your left? You keep on going left, Molly, left, 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 left. There you go. And you see the Havdalah candle right there. Perfect. Monsi, if you will pick up a Kiddush cup or a Havdalah candle. There we go. And we have to light the Havdalah candle. So Kobe, if you'll light the Havdalah candle. The Havdalah candle, of course, is not just a candle, it's a torch. 6 different wicks intertwining to create a torch. This torch is like a family. This torch is like a community. This torch is like a people, stronger together, more than its separate parts. Havdalah is the separation between Shabbat and the rest of the week. And in doing so, we bring all of who we are to this time and space and ritual. Our sight, our taste, our touch, our smell, our hearing, and of course, the senses that can't be measured as well. Here we go.
We bless the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Monsi, come up.
Borei peri hagafen. Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. We smell the spices. Borei minei v'samim. Borei minei v'samim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei me'orei ha'etz. Borei me'orei ha'etz. Borei me'orei ha'etz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Now we're going to extinguish the Havdalah candle into the wine.
Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. Chatutenu hu yimcho. Zar'enu v'chaspenu yarbech hachol. V'chachochavim b'layla. Shavua tov. 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 Eliyahu
Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu
Ahilati.
Siman tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a siman tov, siman tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a siman tov, siman tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a siman tov. Elanu, Yelanu, Yelanu, Uvechol Yisrael. Yelanu, Yelanu, Uvechol Yisrael. Yelanu, Yelanu, Uvechol Yisrael. Yelanu, Yelanu, Uvechol Yisrael. Mazel tov, everybody. Shavua tov, mazel tov, mazel tov.